Good morning, mathematicians. This is Miss Lehman. I wanted to take just a minute to explain a little bit more about your assignment, which of course you will find in Google Classroom. Guys, as we have been talking in this unit, we have learned two important things. The first very important thing that I want you to think about and remind yourself: math has its own very important rules. We can't simply solve math problems like we read. We can't just evaluate our math expressions from left to right. Instead, we must follow the order of operations. We have talked and analyzed expressions, solved those expressions using the order of operation. So when we put our pencil to our page and compute, we must remind ourselves of those steps, which we use the acronym PEMDAS to help us remember. The second thing that I want you to remember, and this pertains to every single unit, which we will do in math, remember, math has its own language. So just like there are rules to our computation, also, math has its own language, and we have to make sure that we understand those essential vocabulary words so that we can talk the talk. We can write great short answers, great extended responses, as well as talk with precision and clarity. That's what good mathematicians do. Guys, as we approach this order of operation vocabulary review this morning, that's what I'm asking you to do. Think about those essential vocabulary words. Use those essential vocabulary words to practice today as you complete this. If you need reminders, if you get stuck today, visit two things. First of all, go back to your vocabulary graphic organizer, which was your very first assignment at the beginning of this unit. Secondly, feel free to go back to your class notes. Some of this information comes from your class notes, and certainly those can be a help to you to reference as you approach the end of this unit, as we start to think about tests, which will occur in just a little bit. All right, guys, remember, in this vocabulary review, really, we're just thinking about that understanding level of knowledge. You're not going to be asked on our vocabulary review today to analyze any questions, to evaluate any questions. Today, we're just talking, what are those things that I need to know? What's the foundation that everything else is going to be built from? And later this week, we'll think a little bit more deeply about this as we approach some short answers, as well as some problem solving. First of all, as you scroll down, you'll notice that questions 1 through 11 ask you to take a term, an essential vocabulary word, and place it beside its definition. Remember, your VGO, your vocabulary graphic organizers, did not have 11 terms at the beginning of this unit. Guys, at the beginning of the unit, I don't have you do the VGO, the vocabulary graphic organizer, for every definition that you need to know. Instead, I take just a sampling, especially those words that hopefully you come to 5th grade with a good foundation for what you know in 4th grade. I only give you the words that you're most familiar with from 4th grade. Then we add to our bank of knowledge throughout our lessons. And at the end of the unit, I am going to ask you to recall the words that we have been discussing in class and speaking through with fluency. Again, that's where those class notes may come in handy as you approach the end of the unit. Feel free to just copy and paste the words from the word bank down below in those yellow boxes. Remember, the yellow highlighted boxes are what I'm expecting you to fill out as you do this assignment today. As you scroll down, questions 12 through 17 are asking you to complete the Hopscotch board. Remember, as we have been talking in this unit, we've discussed how really the steps of PEMDAS don't all just fall vertically. That's a common misconception. Sometimes kids will think in PEMDAS, I do all the P, all the E, all the M, all the D, all the A, all the S in that order. We know better from what we've practiced in class. Yes, I clear out all the parentheses first, but really that includes all grouping symbols, parentheses, brackets, and braces. Say, do me first, do me second, do me third, in that order. Remember that call and response that we've done in class, and that should cue you as to that P parentheses step. Then the second thing that I do is exponents. I clear out all the exponents that I see in my problem. But after I'm done with those top two steps that I see here as well as here, then I have partner steps. The M and the D step are a side-by-side step. They have equal importance. Things that have equal importance in my problem, I solve from left to right. So multiplication and division, I will solve from left to right. The same with addition and subtraction. We do not do all the addition, then all the subtraction. No, that's a misconception. Instead, I solve all the addition and multiplication as I see it, whichever comes first, as I analyze my problem from left to right. You will simply type those words within this Hopscotch board. If you've been listening to this video, I've literally told you the answers. As I said, guys, this is an understanding level of learning. I simply want you to type the words for those letters of PEMDAS. So that, again, we're thinking through how that acronym helps us. What are the actual steps of PEMDAS? Guys, the very bottom of this is optional. You may do this or you may skip it for now. When we actually go over our vocabulary review, if you have not yet completed this part, I will have you type and finish it, because this is knowledge that I want you to bring with you when you actually come to assessment later on, as well as this is information that I want you to know in subsequent units of 5th grade, as well as I want you to bring this knowledge to 6th grade, because that'll greatly help you out with the algebra that you'll do in 6th grade. Guys, I have changed the color of this to be blue. This is cueing you that this is optional. Miss Lehman's expectations always are that what is in yellow is what you must do. This is in blue because it's optional. Think about exponents. Think about what those exponents mean. We've talked about how they pack a punch, and they certainly mean more than just multiplying 7 times 2. If you remember what exponents are, you feel free to, in this 7 and 2 row, just type the word exponent or base for which is which. The very last question is asking you to tell me the value of 7 to the power of 2. Again, if you cannot remember this, you can feel free to skip it. And as we go over this in class, you will simply complete that section of your vocabulary review. Guys, we will do this at the end of our units to make sure we have that good foundation. We can talk the talk of math, and certainly that will help us to reach those short answers and extended responses at proficiency.